The remark itself lasted only a moment, but the history behind it had been building for years. On October 28, 2024, while speaking to supporters at a campaign rally in Atlanta, Donald Trump referred to Michelle Obama as nasty.
Was nasty to me? Michelle Obama. She. Ooh. Ooh. I always tried to be so nice and respectful. Oh, she opened up a little bit of a box. She opened up a little bit of something. Oh, she was nasty. Ooh.
I want to know who's going to tell him that the job he's currently seeking might just be one of those black jobs. And let me tell you this, going small is never the answer. Going small is petty, it's unhealthy, and quite frankly, it's unpresidential.
Michelle Obama's speech last night where she said that you're in over your head and the wrong president.
Yeah, no, she was over her head, and frankly, she should have made the speech live, which she didn't do. She taped it, and it was not only taped, it was taped a long time ago because she had the wrong deaths. She didn't even mention the vice presidential candidate.
That's where the truth of this country lies. Not in grabbing as much as we can get for ourselves or knocking folks down to prop ourselves up, but in the overwhelming goodness, the relentless striving, the quiet dignity.
One of your toughest critics on this is the First Lady, Michelle Obama. She says, your behavior, your words are cruel, they are frightening. This is not how decent people behave. This is not how people who want to be president behave.
Well, what's she going to say? Is she going to say I'm wonderful? Now, look, she made the statement about Hillary Clinton. I've heard the statement for years. I had no idea it was Michelle Obama.
Trump claimed that Michelle had opened a box and made a major mistake by criticizing him publicly. His comments came just 2 days after Michelle Obama delivered a speech at a campaign rally in Kalamazoo, Michigan, where she questioned the unequal standards she believed were being applied to Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. Her remarks were about far more than personality. Michelle pointed to Trump's public conduct, his legal controversies, his comments about women, and what she described as a willingness among some voters to overlook behavior that would seriously damage almost any other candidate. Her speech was emotional, but it was grounded in publicly documented events rather than personal attacks. Instead of responding to those arguments directly, Trump answered with a single word, nasty. That response immediately shifted the conversation. Rather than addressing Michelle's concerns about why Harris was subjected to intense scrutiny while his own actions were frequently excused, he reframed the issue around whether Michelle had been respectful enough toward him. For many older viewers across the United States, Canada, and the United Kingdom, the language sounded familiar. Trump had previously used the same label against several prominent women, including Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris. In each instance, the focus moved away from the substance of their criticism and toward whether their tone met traditional expectations of politeness. Contrary to countless viral social media claims, Michelle Obama did not deliver a dramatic televised comeback exactly 3 days later. There is no public evidence supporting that version of events. What actually happened proved far more significant. By refusing to answer the insult immediately, she denied Trump the confrontation his remarks appeared designed to provoke. Without a direct exchange dominating the headlines, public attention naturally returned to the speech that had prompted Trump's response. Online, clips of both moments circulated together. Viewers watched Trump's personal insult alongside Michelle's earlier address, allowing people to compare the criticism with the reaction it received. On one side was a brief personal label. On the other was a detailed discussion of public conduct, legal issues, and what Michelle argued were political double standards. No dramatic face-to-face confrontation was necessary because the contrast already spoke for itself. Michelle had clearly explained why she believed the situation deserved attention. She argued that voters were being asked to overlook what she described as erratic behavior, dishonesty, indecency, and significant legal controversies involving Trump, while expecting Kamala Harris to meet an entirely different and much higher standard. Trump's response did not directly engage with those concerns. Instead, Michelle continued campaigning in the days that followed, without allowing the insult to dominate her message. She kept the focus on the election, the treatment of women in politics, and the type of leadership she believed Americans were being encouraged to accept. By refusing to transform the episode into a personal feud, Michelle made Trump's remark appear less significant. That decision ultimately weakened the impact of the attack. Calling a critic nasty can influence public opinion only if people forget what that critic originally said. When the original speech remains widely available, searchable, and easy to replay, every renewed mention encourages audiences to revisit the very arguments the insult attempted to overshadow. The moment also reflected the evolution of Michelle Obama's well-known message. In 2016, she famously told Democrats that, "When they go low, we go high." By 2024, her language had become more forceful, but her overall approach remained disciplined. She focused on actions rather than personalities, emphasized the consequences she believed were at stake, and repeatedly directed voters' attention back to the election instead of personal retaliation. There was no dramatic television showdown, no carefully staged studio silence, and no audience rising for applause. The contrast between the two responses created its own conclusion. Trump said Michelle Obama had been nasty toward him. Michelle's speech, meanwhile, asked why his conduct continued receiving greater tolerance than the women challenging him politically. His attempt to make her tone the central story ultimately reminded millions of viewers why she had spoken out in the first place. Over time, the label faded, while the underlying questions she raised continued to dominate the conversation.